مجمع الأندلس التعليمي، تعلم عصري ملهم بهوية وطنية وقيم إسلامية.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أهلا وسهلا بكم أعزائي طلبة الصف الثامن. درسنا لهذا اليوم راح يكون speaking and listening and you can find it on page number 42. نبدأ أولا باستعراض قيمة هذا الأسبوع والتي هي نصرة لنبينا صلى الله عليه وسلم. ستكون هذه القيمة هي قيمة هذا الأسبوع. قل إن كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم الله غفور رحيم. صدق الله العظيم. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى أكون أحب إليه من ولده ووالده والناس أجمعين. حبنا للرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم واتباعنا لسنته وتتبعنا لسيرته يجعلنا محببين لله سبحانه وتعالى ويغفر لنا ذنوبنا ويرحمنا. نبدأ الآن بدرسنا أعزائي الطلاب باستعراض الأهداف. الهدف الأول لهذا اليوم is to answer questions after listening to an audio clip and then after that to respond correctly to good and bad news. نستعرض بداية some of the vocabulary that we have in this lesson. Cheer up. When someone is sad, you came to him and ask him to cheer up. Cheer up. يكون حزين فأنت تريد أن تفرحه. Number 2, sympathy تعاطف, showing sympathy. Congratulations, مبارك. عندما تسمع خبر جيد, good news, you say congratulations. Well done, عندما ينجز أحدهم عمل جيد نقول له well done. Kidding. The last one is glad or happy. I'm glad or happy. glad سعيد أو happy أيضا بنفس المعنى. Now let's go and listen, then answer the questions that follow. You can open your student's book, page number 42. Exercise B and C. This exercise. Listen to the dialogue. To a dialogue between a boy and his sister. What is the girl's good news and what is her bad news? Listen.
3E. Listen. B. Listen to a dialogue between a boy and his sister. What is the girl's good news and what is her bad news?
Hey Alice, where have you been? You were supposed to meet me here 15 minutes ago.
Well, I was checking my exam results.
Oh, and?
There's good news and bad news.
Good news first.
I passed the biology exam.
You're kidding?
Nope. I'm so glad I didn't fail. I studied so hard.
Well done. I'm happy for you.
But...
Why does there always have to be a but?
I saw Mrs. Brams and she told me that I had to do the project on vitamins again if I want a good mark for the whole year.
That's too bad.
Mrs. Brams thinks I could do better.
Listen, let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
Thanks, Martin.
Okay, so what is the girl's good news and what is her bad news? The good news is she passed her biology exam, but the bad news, she has to do up the project about vitamins again. Now let's look at exercise C. Listen again. Which of the following phrases does the boy use to respond to his sister's news? And we need to put tick beside it. He first used kidding. You're kidding. Then well done. After that, I'm happy for you. Then he said that's too bad. And finally, let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Okay, now let's go to the next part of this lesson. The next part of this lesson is actually related to this video. So let's watch the video and come back again.
Hello dear students. Happy to see you again. Today, we're going to learn how to respond to good and bad news. Before we move to the lesson details, I invite you to watch an animation to explore this language function in context.
Hi, Grandpa. You know what? I'm getting married next summer.
Congratulations, Steve. I'm happy to hear that.
What's wrong with you, Betty? You look sad. I missed my flight to London. I have to buy another ticket and wait until Friday. I'm sorry to hear that.
I hope you have now developed an idea about responding to good and bad news. Now, let's watch the lesson for more details. Responding to good and bad news. There are a variety of ways to respond to good and bad news. Let's explore some of them based on the animation.
Congratulations, Steve. I'm happy to hear that.
So congratulations is one way to respond to a good news. I'm happy to hear that as another way to do that. Now, let's explore how we can respond to a bad news.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So I'm sorry to hear that as one way to respond to a bad news. Now, I invite you to learn more expressions to respond to good and bad news. To respond to bad news, you can say, I'm awfully sorry that, I'm sorry to hear that, I'm sorry to hear such terrible news, my goodness. I can't believe it. Poor you, I do sympathize with you, please, accept my deepest sympathy. I know how you must be feeling, that must be awful, oh, dear. Too bad. That's awful, or a pity, or unfortunate. To respond to good news, you can say, that sounds exciting. That's great. Fantastic. That's good or wonderful news. Congratulations. That's wonderful or fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. Great news. Incredible. Superb. Lucky you. I can't believe that. Dear students, the lesson stops here. See you in another animated lesson.
Okay, as we saw in this lesson, we saw that we can use the good and bad news in many situations, and we saw two situations here. To express or respond to good and bad news, you need some expressions. And such expressions are there in your student's book. You can find it on page number 42. Responding to good news. Are you serious? Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad to hear that. Good for you. Well done. What a wonderful news. What a surprise. How exciting. How nice. Unbelievable. You're kidding. That's the last thing I expected. بالإضافة للأشياء أيضا that we saw in the video. Responding to bad news and expressing sympathy. Poor you. You poor thing. That's so sad. That's too bad. That's a shame, or that's pity. What a shame, what a pity. How awful, how terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. Is there anything I can do to help? Let me know if there's anything I can do. Cheer up. Look on the bright side. إذن هذه المصطلحات بالإضافة للمصطلحات اللي شفناها بالفيديو, we can use them to help us know more about responding to good and bad news. الآن مثل ما احنا شايفين في إن good news and bad news موجود في آخر الصفحة هذه بالضبط تحديدا. هذه الجزئية راح نتمرن عليها. ممكن نتمرن عليها بالصف, وممكن نتمرن عليها بيننا وبين نفسنا في البيت. تخيل بعض المواقف وحاول انك انت تعمل تدريب كيف إنك تعبر عن الجود نيوز، كيف تحكي جود نيوز، وكيف أيضا تعمل responding ل good and bad news. الآن قبل ما ننهي هذا الدرس في عنا جيم بتمنى منكم أعزائي الطلاب ندخل عليها. طبعا راح تكون موجودة على المنصة. هاي الجيم بتساعدنا حتى نفهم أكثر عن ال good and bad news, how to express good and bad news, and how to respond to good and bad news. Mom, I passed all my exam. هل الجواب راح يكون cheer up, well done, that's too bad, ولا what a pity؟ الإجابة well done. كملوا هذا التمرين. بتمنى يكون جيم ممتعة. بهيك نكون وصلنا لنهاية هذا الدرس. بتمنى يكون درس مفيد. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
مجمع الأندلس التعليمي، تعلم عصري ملهم بهوية وطنية وقيم إسلامية.